Baptist minister, lived on the southwest side of Chicago. And his wife and his 6 youngest children, he had 9 children altogether. 6 youngest children gather in a circle on their front lawn and hold their hands, and they say a prayer before they get into that van. This is routine. They do it all the time. I interview the Wilsons. Every time they went on a trip, they asked the Lord to protect them. They drive up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to visit some family members up there, and they're behind a tractor trailer. And on that tractor trailer is a rear taillight assembly that's dangling. Other truck drivers see this dangling piece of metal, and they try to contact the driver of the truck by CB radio. His deposition later on, that particular truck driver, he said, I turned the CB off because they were speaking English and I didn't understand it. It was just chatter to me, so I turned it off. The driver was Ricardo Guzman. He didn't speak a word of English and he was an illegal alien. Well, eventually, that chunk of metal, that rear taillight assembly, fell off the trailer. Scott Willis is in the Dodge Caravan behind him. Doesn't have a chance to swerve around it or stop or anything. Drives over it, it hits the gas tank, and almost instantly the back end of the Caravan explodes into flames. Janet Willis, I'm still not quite sure exactly how she got out, but she got out of the van on the passenger side. I don't know if she was blown out or she was able to escape. Their oldest son escapes out the back hatch, but he's in flames. And a passing motorist in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, who happens to be from Illinois, sees the kid in flames, pulls over, wraps him in a jacket, and rolls him on the ground, puts the flame out, and eventually that kid is taken by helicopter to a hospital and dies 2 hours later. The other 5 passengers, the other 5 younger children in the back are killed. Some say instantly. Later, autopsies prove that they weren't killed instantly. There was a period of suffering there. Scott Willis, newspapers play it up, he's a hero, he tried to save his kids. When I talked to him, he says, Ed, I'm not a hero. I only did what I had to do. My first thing was surviving. He says, I wanted to live. I was trapped in my seatbelt, my arms were burned, and I couldn't get out. He says, eventually I was able to take the buckle, it was really hot and burning my hands, and pull the buckle off, and then roll out onto the street. And when I turned back, I knew it was too late. There wasn't anything I could do. But anyway, I still went up to the van, and I tried breaking the window with my elbows because he didn't have any hands left. He had hands, but they were 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his hand. That was the final outcome of that van. That's Scott at the press conference later on. All over the news that night. As a matter of fact, it was 1994 November. It was Election Day when this accident occurred. George Ryan was running for his 2nd term as Secretary of State. He was running against Pat Quinn. Pat Quinn was running for Secretary of State at the time. So anyway, Russ and I get into the office the next day. We had seen it on the news at 10 o'clock that night. And we ordered up the application out of the Driver Services Department out of Springfield to be faxed up to us for this Ricardo Guzman's application. And on the application, it's driver's license, indicates the driver's issued out of the Cook Driver's License Facility. And the driver's license examiner that handled the test for Ricardo Guzman was the same one was the target of our prior investigations all that fall. Marion Seibel. A little early note about Marion Seibel before I get into the federal investigation part of it. She admitted to federal agents later on when this whole scandal finally broke that she collected $80,000 in bribe money that went to the George Ryan campaign. So we knew we had the right guy, Ricardo Guzman. How are we going to work that? Of course, we're going to drive up to Wisconsin, we're going to interview, and we're going to try to do something to get Ricardo Guzman to cooperate with us so that we can get Marion Seibel and the other people at the McCook facility. Immediately, Russ Sonneville opens up a case that morning, and by lunchtime, Dean Bauer had that case closed. He says, I'm going to close this case out. And he says